I took a little screenshot, and the only picture of a white woman is actually the wedding picture. And what was really fascinating about the wedding picture was that you could tell that he's insecure about marrying this white woman because to use that word insecure, but he's insecure about marrying the white woman because he didn't even allow any comments on the wedding photo. And
So, okay, here's number one where I want to call bullshit on Dr. Boyce. Okay, Dr. Boyce, first and foremost, because he turned off the comments doesn't make him insecure. He turned off the comments because he doesn't want bitter women like, respectfully, he doesn't want bitter women, bitter black women like your wife, commenting and commenting and commenting all day because they're jealous of the fact that he chose a white woman. That's why he blocked the comments. Nobody wants to hear what these bitter assholes have to say.
Following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
I'm at 13. I'm at 13. I'm at $13,000 a month. What more do you want from me?
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Trippin' Ain't Easy. I am your host, Trip Simpson, ready to get this grill going today. But first, we gotta handle business.
I know you're gonna look after family.
What family you talking about, Ice?
Fuck, I look invisible, nigga.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I am not invisible. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell and select all. Now, first order of business. I want to talk about the Jay Ellis situation. If you don't know, Jay Ellis is the actor who played Lawrence on the HBO hit series Insecure, written by Issa Rae. Now, recently, Lawrence got married, and he got married to a white woman. Of course, Black Twitter went crazy. But what they went even more crazy because when he posted it to his IG page, he blocked the comments. Now, I don't want to put Jay Ellis on the grill today because I really don't have a problem with anything he did. The person who's going on the grill today is going to be none other than Dr. Boyce Watkins. Why? Dr. Boyce Watkins has once again decided to take on any and all challengers to the throne of the heavyweight simp championship title of the world. Now, I hate saying that because I kind of like Boyce Watkins, but sometimes he just does shit that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. For instance, like all his videos he made about Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels never said nothing about this dude, but he constantly made video after video after video about him, even though the guys in his comment section were destroying him. Then we have this situation with Jay Ellis. He decides to do a podcast with his wife and basically shit on the guy for marrying who he wants to marry. So anyway, without any further ado, I want to get into his podcast. And then after we do his podcast, we'll get into a couple of other articles related to the situation. and we'll go from there.
What's going on? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia.
First of all, the name of this nigga's show is Pillow Talk. My nigga, that's the name of your show. Let me start that over. Maybe I didn't hear that right. Let's go back.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is
He said Pillow Talk.
Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. And this is kind of a special episode of Pillow Talk because we rarely are not laying against the same pillow. But I'm talking to my wife. I'm all the way in Denver. She's all the way in Atlanta. And I want to say, that's my babe. How you doing today?
You know, I had a great day until I found out something in my news feed about a wedding this weekend, and I was very surprised. But anyway, other than that, I'm okay.
So if you don't know, she's talking about the wedding between Jay Ellis and his wife, who happens to be white. Now, first of all, you're a married woman. So why in the hell are you disturbed about who another man decides to marry when you have a husband? Why are you worried about him?
Okay.
Yeah,
How you doing?
Yeah, well, you know what? I tell you what, a lot of sisters were very, very, I don't know if they were feeling insecure, but the star of Insecure, Jay Ellis, did some real interesting stuff today. He got, apparently this week he got married to a Serbian lady. We're going to call her Becky until we figure out what her name is. You can look it up, Google it. And
So first of all, two doctors doing a podcast, and you didn't even do enough research on the subject to even know the woman's name. But you got two doctors here doing a podcast. Black excellence.
He has built his whole career apparently by being this sex symbol for Black women, that all these Black women looked up to, not looked up to him, but really kind of admired him for the roles he played. His whole Instagram feed was full of all these tributes to Black women, and some felt like
So he can't tribute Black women and marry a white woman? Are we forgetting that his mother is Black? His grandmothers are Black. If he's got sisters, they're Black. If he's got aunties, they're Black. So he can't marry a white woman and still love Black women at the same time. This is what we're going with here.
it might have been pandering because so when he gets married, and the pictures are nice, a nice wedding photo.
I know Boyce Watkins didn't just accuse somebody of pandering.
He cut the comments off. So I'm not gonna say much else. I'm gonna ask everybody, does anybody know who Jay Ellis is? Like, how many of you, give me a yes in the chat if you've ever seen him on the show Insecure, Issa Rae's show. He's a pretty important character. And let me know if you know who Jay Ellis is and you know just some of the controversy. So I'll go to you, Alicia, because you're the only Black woman in this conversation, other than the women that are listening. How did you feel? Like, what was it that got your attention about this? What let you send this over to me?
Okay, so Jay Ellis, first of all, not only was he the star of Insecure, but he also played in another one of my favorite shows, The Game. Remember The Game? You ever watched it? You sat and watched it with me, but I love that show.
As much as I could stomach. And I actually like
Really?
football.
You didn't like the show?
I couldn't stay in the game. I couldn't. I felt like that was more of a woman's show, but but I could tell it was entertaining. I knew you liked it.
No, you didn't say that. Okay,
Yeah, because
let me tell everybody, you sat and watched several episodes with me, and you kind of got into the.
Good Lord, I wish they would really just get into the goddamn conversation. Nobody cares about this bullshit.
Storyline.
Well, that's just because I think you're cute. Now, I'll watch anything you watch.
Damn, the sipping and pandering never stops with this nigga, man.
Because I'm really just watching you.
Well, I think like the writing, I don't want to get off into a tangent about The Game, but
you see how she just brushed off the compliment he gave her, right? I think I need to do a whole nother show about Boyce Watkins sipping and when it comes to this woman. No offense to her. I mean, she came up. You know what I mean? She came up.
The writing of that show, it was so realistic. Like, it really got into the heads of Black people. So I could relate to it very closely. But anyway, he played in the game, like some of the later seasons, not when Derwin was there. He came in after Derwin. See, you don't even know the whole story. But
I hate to keep stopping like this, but anyway, I got to do it for fair use purposes. If anyone ever remembers that show, The Game, and what kind of women and what they were doing on the game, and how that storyline plays out, for her to say that she closely resonates with that show says a lot.
anyway, that was one of my favorite shows, The Game. And it was really nice to see him on that show. And he played in an all-Black cast. Then he goes to Insecure, and here he is as the main character in the all-Black cast. He's nice on the eyes, Boyce. I don't want you to feel a certain way, but he's easy on the eyes.
You used me, Skinner! You used me!
He's probably old enough to be my son, so I don't really look at him like that. But
Never believe a woman when she says some shit like that. He's a grown man, she's a grown woman. If he gave her the time of day, she would do it. Never believe that he old enough to be my son. A lot of these women don't even care if he's 16 or 17.
He just was an up and coming rising star in Black Hollywood.
Well,
And I didn't follow him on Instagram, but I looked him up on Instagram, and I'm like, wow, maybe there was warning that he would be married to, a white woman like this. And you can't see, like, I scrolled his feed as far back as I could.
What does she mean? Maybe there was a warning that he would be married to a white woman. What? Do you have to? So now, if you want to marry a white woman, you have to warn people on what you plan to do in your private life because you're an actor who plays on Black shows? This is utterly insane. This is utterly insane. And this woman is a psychiatrist or psychologist or something, I think.
Could in about a 5-minute time span, not one white woman is on his feed.
Yeah, if you look at his Instagram, I mean,
So because there's no white women on his Instagram feed, he's not allowed to marry a white woman? He has to check in with Black women before he marries who he wants to marry? Wow, that's very, very interesting.
I took a little screenshot, and the only picture of a white woman is actually the wedding picture. And what was really fascinating about the wedding picture was that you could tell that he's insecure about marrying this white woman because, to use that word insecure, but he's insecure about marrying the white woman because he didn't even allow any comments on the wedding photo.
So, okay, here's number one where I want to call bullshit on Dr. Boyce. Okay, Dr. Boyce, first and foremost, because he turned off the comments doesn't make him insecure. He turned off the comments because he doesn't want bitter women, like, respectfully, he doesn't want bitter women, bitter Black women like your wife, commenting and commenting and commenting all day because they're jealous of the fact that he chose a white woman. That's why he blocked the comments. Nobody wants to hear what these bitter assholes have to say. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. He doesn't owe them anything, and he can marry who he wants to marry. Shit, didn't nobody get up in arms over Meghan Markle? Y'all hoes had a fucking parade when Meghan Markle got married into one of the most racist families in the history of the planet Earth. You hoes threw Meghan Markle a parade. So please, miss me with that bullshit.
And I thought that was really interesting. And that almost, it makes you curious, right? Like I saw a lot of Black women were kind of annoyed because I think that it seemed to me, you could tell me if I'm accurate about any of this, but it seemed to me they felt like they were being pandered to. That Issa Rae and Jay Ellis kind of got together and just said, okay, let's play this game of presenting you as a sex symbol to black women, dangling you in front of them as if this is some sort. And this is the interesting thing. Like sometimes women get caught up in the fantasies of what they see on TV, and they're thinking, okay, this is the kind of man I could have, and they really admire this guy. Men don't really do that as much.
First of all, he's totally wrong. He's totally wrong. First of all, black women hated Lawrence's character on the show Insecure. I remember when the show was on TV, arguing tooth and nail with black women about Lawrence's stance in the relationship. Black women hated Lawrence. Even though Lawrence was done wrong by Issa Rae, black women hated him. Hell, if I was the Lawrence on the show Insecure, I would go with a white woman too. With all this shit them hoes put him through on the show. What is Boyce Watkins talking about? They hated Lawrence's character. Week after week after week, black men and black women argued over who was right, Lawrence or Issa. And they all said Lawrence was wrong every week, even though he always treated Issa like gold. So yeah, boys, you're all right there.
We do it in a different way. And then to find that black women were never considered or never really part of his long-term life plan. I don't actually blame them. I can understand being a little offended by that. And I think that's
You used me, Skinner! You used me!
California thing. I hear a lot of the brothers in California just don't like black women. What do you think about what I just said?
Okay, yeah, now I don't think as a black woman I was upset that he married a white woman. Like that part, we get it. We know love is love, and you know, she's also an actress, so maybe they were on a movie set together, or maybe they met in the industry, and we get that black men do marry outside their race. Like, we totally understand it. I think the part that gets me is that he has branded himself and marketed himself as this pro-black, I wouldn't say pro-black necessarily, but black character.
Thank you.
Who plays in these ensemble roles where he's the black person, the love of his life. Like, we see him on...
Stop the cap.
So, because he plays in black films as a black character who dates black women, he's automatically supposed to marry one in real life? That's your logic? That's your logic. You know, it's funny how they have all of this smoke. They have all this smoke for him for marrying a white woman, but they don't have none for Meghan Markle. They don't have none for Serena Williams. They don't have none for Maya Angelou. They don't have none for Eve. They don't have none for any of these women that have decided to date outside their race. You don't hear black men all up in their comments judging them for marrying who they want to marry. The only nigga that you hear doing that is Umar Johnson. And we just found out he liked white women too. So,
on camera, falling in love with a black woman. And we see him repeatedly, you know, have this sort of romantic feel for black women. Not once have we ever seen him have a crossover film like apparently he is having now. Is because when I saw the article on Vogue magazine,
he's just an actor. How does he have any control? How does he have any control over the scripts that he accepts? How does he have any control over that? Someone offers him a script, it's the right amount of money, he takes the script. He hasn't even reached a point in his career where he can turn shit down like that. Like, he's still an up and coming actor. And he's been out for years. Like, the nerve of these people, like, this shit is crazy to even listen to.
It said that he is a Top Gun Maverick or something like that. Like, I don't even know him. In my mind, I don't even relate him with anything called Top Gun. So Does he think he is Tom Cruise or something? Like, I don't even get that. So
Well, I mean,
he,
he was
mhm.
he was one of the characters in the new Top Gun.
Gotcha, bitch. Gotcha. Gotcha, bitch. Gotcha, bitch.
Oh,
Remix or remake. Yeah,
okay. I didn't even
I
know
think
Top Gun.
You used me, Skinner! You used me!
Honestly, I didn't even know Top Gun was even remaking something like a
yeah,
reboot
yeah,
of
I didn't
Top
see
Gun.
that.
I didn't even
But
know
you
that
know,
was happening.
well, let me just tell you this. He's been with this actress, the Serbian model Nina Sinikar, actually since 2015. So this is not a short-term relationship. It's pretty long-term. And
So if this has been a long-term relationship, then what the hell are we talking about? I mean, he's already been on interviews about. He did a Breakfast Club interview years ago about this. And back in 2017, he was talking about this shit. Back in 2017, he came out and was telling people about. I mean, this shit came up on the Breakfast Club. This ain't no surprise. And even if it was, who cares? That's his personal freaking business.
And what's interesting, I think, to a lot of people, it'd be one thing if he was, appealing to black women and getting them to tune in to the show by showing this sort of authentic appreciation for black women. It's another thing, and then let's say he was doing that, and everybody also knew who his girlfriend was. Like if somebody really loves you, they're going to show you off. They're going to show you to the world. Like I've done both.
That's false. If you smart, keep your business legit. Like I said, I always had my criticism about Charlemagne the God, but Charlemagne the God is smart for not having his wife and kids in the spotlight. The average person cannot spot them people out to save their life. And that saves you a whole lot of trouble and a whole lot of problems. Charlemagne the God is smart for that. He keeps his fucking business legit. Nobody knows who his wife is. Nobody knows who his kids are. So for Boyce Watkins to sit up here and say you're supposed to show off your spouse, in this climate, these days, with all these hoes out here doing shit for clout, why would you want anybody to know who your family is? You're gonna be a constant target. But you would think two freaking doctors would know that.
I have had situations where I didn't want to show off the person I was with. And then I have times like now with you. I'm happy to show everyone that I'm with you because I'm my commitment level is deeper.
Pay attention. Look at his StreamYard photo and look at her StreamYard photo. His StreamYard photo has the two of them. Her StreamYard photo is herself in a red dress.
You used me, Skinner! You used me!
Let's continue.
Right. And so the fact that he hid this woman, like all these years that people followed him, you could have been his number one fan. Like,
you just said he's been with her since 2015. How did he hide this woman? He did an interview on Breakfast Club, said he was with a white woman. But he hid her? Whose business is it who he's with? He's not the president of the United States. He's not the Secretary of freaking State. Nobody needs to know who his spouse is. He's an actor.
you could be the head of his damn fan club and have no idea who his girlfriend is. So it almost speaks to a type of
the head of his fan club, bro. The head of his fan club. Listen to yourself, boys. Boys, look, boys. You sound like a fucking bitch. You sound like a bitch. You on StreamYard gossiping with your wife, sounding like a bitch. But no wonder you call it Pillow Talk. Perfect name for a fucking show. Pillow Talk. Because you gossiping with your wife like a bitch doing pillow talk.
Almost borderline unethical brand manager.
Yes. He's presenting himself because all on his page, he's got pictures with he and Issa Rae. He's got pictures with he and all the other cast members of Insecure and other black women, prominent black women. It's not one white woman, white female face on his Instagram page. And then boom, all of a sudden he's with this lady. Like, why is he holding her into the light now? And he never had been before.
Yeah,
It's a little kind of like a switcheroo. Like, what the hell's going on?
yeah. Then when he does bring the white woman out to say, "Hey, I married this lady,"
He
he
turns
cuts
the
off.
comments off.
Yeah, he cuts off
Like,
all
he
the
don't
comments
trust us.
Nobody trusts y'all. And listen, let me be clear here. I'm married to a black woman. Okay, I'm married to a black woman, but I understand what especially a prominent dude like him would go through showing a wedding picture to a white woman, because these hoes be hating. They be hating like shit. They'll be all in your comments saying all type of nasty shit, calling you all type of coons, when really all you wanted was peace and quiet. Now, I'm lucky because I got peace and quiet in my house, but most niggas ain't getting that. So when you sit up and wonder why prominent black men go and get white women, ask yourself one question. Who the fuck really wants a strong, independent woman? Not an affluent black man. Because don't nobody want to hear your fucking mouth. Nobody wants to hear your mouth. So if he got to go and get a Serbian chick, so fucking be it. Let's continue.
Like, because he
knows y'all pissed. He knows that black women will feel like they got a rope a dope, and I don't blame them, because I think the world kind of just really disrespects black women in ways that are highly inappropriate. When I was,
thank you for your
doing my
service.
thing, and I've always been okay with presenting myself as a very pro-black person. I never felt I could be authentically 100% pro-black and then turn around and say, okay, but when I'm making the most important decision of my life, the biggest investment I'll ever make, it's not stocks or bonds, it's not anything in my business, it's who I spend my life with. So I'm down with y'all. I got your back.
Stop the cap.
Okay, let's talk about who he decided to spend the rest of his life with. Dr. Boyce's wife, who he's on this podcast with right now, friend zoned his ass when they were in college. He liked her back then. She didn't like him. She probably fell for a more athletic, taller guy who wasn't fat, probably wasn't smart. She married him, had 2-3 kids by the nigga. The dude used her up, divorced her. Then she decided to go to Dr. Boyce. After the fact, he was trying to get with her in her 20s. She got used up. Boom, she's 50 years old. He's worth $8 million. Okay, now she'll settle with him. That's his situation. The most important decision that he had to make was getting with a broad who friend zoned him in her prime. In her prime. Let's continue.
The big decision, I'm going to go lay down with Becky and pass all my wealth on to this Serbian lady. Even though this Serbian lady, she wasn't the one that made Insecure the #1 show on HBO or whatever it is. She wasn't, the Serbian people were not the ones who carried you and had your back.
So who should he pass all his money on to? Akeisha? Who should he pass his money on to? That's his child's mother. He married her. He made an honest woman out of her. They have a child. They have a child already together. He married her. Who should he pass his money on to at this point? Who? I swear to God, man. I swear to God, man. I'm jumping off the fucking ship, man. I'm jumping off the ship. Cause niggas, it's at the point now where being pro-black is like being illogical. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm pro-reparations, all that shit. But like niggas be going left these days. Cause guys like Dr. Boyce and a handful of other YouTubers don't have nothing else to talk about at this point. So they keep you on this hamster wheel of issues that they ain't really trying to solve. They just want to keep complaining about shit. Oh, well, it's taking black wealth. He already got a kid with her.
You know, in a world that doesn't love you very much. And I just really am curious. I really would love to understand, you know, how we can do that. How there are people that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I'm not saying people don't have a right to marry who they want to marry. They can marry who they want to marry. But it's almost like he used black women to create this brand. Like, you're this black female sex symbol or sex symbol.
He used black women to create a powerful brand. This nigga should sue you, bro. He should sue you. This is slander.
For black women. And then it's like, oh yeah, but I wouldn't really go marry you. I was just pretending. When something as important as marriage, I would never share that with a black woman. My Lord Jesus, well, who would ever do that? You know, so I don't know. That's what I'm kind of saying.
Yeah. The thing is that in the black community, we like realness. When people say gotta keep it real, we're not talking about being stupid and ghetto. We're talking about keeping it real, like
actually keeping it real does mean being stupid and ghetto. But that's how I know she has no idea about how anything works in the black community. No idea.
Type of image that you promote, the type of brand that you promote is also reflective of who you are. And that's why I think, like, in the black community, we've always been accepting of LGBT population. Like, if you're a homosexual, we respect you more if you were just out. You know, if you were just, this is who I am, love me for who I am, and we can applaud that because you're being your authentic self. But the closeted homosexuals is the one where we just kind of turn.
So now she's comparing him marrying his white wife to being a homosexual. This is a real reach. This is a real reach.
Turn our nose up because it's like, why are you going to be one way and then be a different way? Like, we don't like the two-face.
One way? How's he being two-faced? He's acting on a television show. He's acting on a television show. That's not being two-faced. Acting is not real. That's like asking Ray Liotta, yo, man, how you going to be a gangster on Goodfellas and then in real life you ain't no gangster? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's like asking Idris Elba, you know, how he's gonna play a cowboy in an old American Western, and then when you hear him in real life and found out he's British, yo, how you gonna play an American in real life and you British, and I found out you British? Yo, you fake. What?
It just feels like he's being two-faced. Like, we get insulted. We love when people are just who they are. Your private life, your public life, it should be very closely tied to who you are as a person, even the type of roles that you.
These are doctors. She just said your private life and your public life should be closely tied to who you are. Do you see how logic just goes out the window? Let's rewind that a little bit. All right.
Our nose up because it's like, why are you going to be one way and then be a different way? Like, we don't like the two-face. It just feels like he's being two-faced. Like, we get insulted. We love when people are just who they are. Your private life, your public life, it should be very closely tied to who you are as a person, even the type of roles that you pick and all of that. Like, we, you know, as an actor, you know, we kind of put that on you a little bit, you know, that you should, you know, that it should be really authentic. And now it's like he's built up.
Denzel Washington is not a dirty cop, but he played a dirty cop in Training Day. Are you upset that he's not a dirty cop? Make this make sense. Just say you're salty that he married a white woman. Just say that you're salty. But trying to make this word salad of an argument, you're saying everything else in the world besides what it is, that you're jealous that he married outside of his race. Just say that.
up this brand, or he's built up this image that he's one way, and then all of a sudden he's posting the picture of he and Becky. I don't know her name. She's probably a very lovely lady. We don't know, but then she
Wow, look at the shade. Look at the shade. Look at the shade.
puts this picture up, and it almost seems like he was just kind of like threw the bomb out there and then just go high. He's probably enjoying his honeymoon right now, and I hope he has a very successful marriage. It's not anything against him. It's just like, who was telling him how to run his career in this way?
So you say all this inflammatory shit, then you say nothing against him. Then you say who's telling him how to run his career. It appears to me as if he's running his own life and not letting the peanut gallery run his life. Kudos to this brother.
This seems very unauthentic, and that's the part we don't like. Black people, we don't like that kind of thing.
So basically, I mean, I think to summarize it, it's almost like he was in the closet, and
yes.
And you're really thinking that you're looking at somebody who's really interested in someone like you, but he's like, no, I was just pretending to be interested in you to get something from you, right? I want to get my fame, I want to get my fortune, I want to get my I want to make my show number one. And Black women are actually the most loyal customer base in America. Black women are an intelligent consumer group. Black women will, if they love your show, they will watch it religiously.
Listen to the pandering.
And so, I think that Issa Rae, I don't know if she should address something like this publicly, but I really think they need to think about their brand, because
why would Issa Rae need to address this publicly? What the hell does this have to do with her? Now you bringing Issa Rae in this shit because she married a white because he married a white woman. This is a PR disaster because he married a white woman? Are you serious? Issa Rae just got another $100 million off HBO. What the hell are you talking about, Boyce Watkins? What are you talking about? The show is over. The show is over. Lawrence is not even on the new show. Lawrence has used what he could use out of Insecure. He's on to the next best thing. And he'll probably get better roles in Hollywood at this point.
Because they're associated with this. They knew that, he had this Becky thing going on in the background. And while people want to act like this thing doesn't matter, I think something as serious as marriage is a big deal, because there are a lot of people that, just won't marry a Black woman. And marriage matters. Marriage is how wealth gets transferred. Marriage is the greatest form of commitment.
So you say that there are people out here that just won't marry a Black woman. You have to ask yourself why they won't marry a Black woman. Why won't they?
The man can make. So, I think that women should clearly understand. I think they get it, but in case they don't,
Unknown.
A man just flirting with you or sleeping with you or dating you or making you a baby mama or whatever it is, that doesn't come close to the level of commitment required for a man to say, I'm taking you on as my wife. You are my equal. You are sharing in my assets, my fortune. Everything that I have is partly yours. And so that is, at least in my life, that was the biggest decision I ever made. And I remember telling everybody that was listening to me back in 2016, I said, I don't know if I'm going to get married. I'm not going to make anybody force me to get married. But if I get married, you can bet your ass I'm going to marry a Black woman, because I can't sit here and be the Mr. Pro-Black, whatever I'm supposed to be, and then turn around and be like, oh yeah, but here's my white wife and our non-Black kids and Black women. Y'all can just sit back and love and admire me and buy my stuff, but I ain't gonna marry. I wouldn't marry none of y'all. I just think that would be insulting. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, it is absolutely insulting. I think the thing is that it would be one thing, like, he's using Black people as a stepping stone for him to establish himself as an actor in a very successful television show, and now he has made his crossover step.
Now he's on Top Gun. He gets to be with Tom Cruise.
Wow, this is disgusting to listen to. So because an actor took a job and it happened to be on the best-selling show on HBO, now he's required to marry who you want him to marry? Just because you watched his show, he's supposed to marry who you want him to marry. This is fucking ridiculous, dude. I don't even know. I don't even know how people still listen to this nigga, man. Like, this ain't even logical at this point.
Now you
Now
done
he's
made it.
on
White folks
his
love you.
next top cruise, and he's got Becky on his side. And so it's almost
What?
like he has, boom, crossed over, and now he feels like he's going to
What?
be making millions. That's like you boys. You're talking about pro-black and B1 and all of that, and then you get endorsed by, I don't know, who's the like big time white person? Who's the big time white people in the financial market?
I don't
even know who it
Warren
is,
Buffett.
but- okay, so here you are. It's a black business school, and you're doing all this work in the black community, and Warren Buffett hires you and collaborates with you, and then you leave everybody behind. You leave me behind, and
Yep.
I'm not light enough. You got to go and get Becky, and now you made it because Warren Buffett is your friend. Like, it's almost like that's how it feels.
So the comparison she just made makes no sense. Dr. Boyce himself already stated that this man has been with the white woman since 2015. Insecure didn't even air until what, 2016, 2017? What? How make this make sense? It sounds like you're just emotional. You're just emotional because another black man recognized that he has more options and he doesn't have to deal with the everyday bullshit that regular black men have to deal with. Jay Ellis, aka Lawrence, is a high value man and he exercised his options. He exercised his options. He didn't settle for the strong, independent attitude bullshit. He didn't settle. And I'm not saying all black women have that, because they don't. But apparently, Lawrence couldn't find one that wasn't like that. Excuse me, not Lawrence. Jay Ellis. And please, like I said earlier, cut the crap. Y'all hated Lawrence. Y'all hated Lawrence. So don't be mad that now he with a white woman. You hated him. Let the man go on in peace. You said Lawrence wasn't shit. Fine. Lawrence like, fine. I ain't shit. Let me go ahead and marry this white woman then. Because apparently she don't think that way.
That's how
I'm now Buffett's boy. I'm gonna be Buffett's boy. I done made it. But you know, this is common. This is a common thing. Like, black people get used for in a lot of ways. We are economic hoes. That's the term I would use. As, economic hoes in the sense that whenever you want to get, pop a product off and make it hip, you sell it to black people. Whenever whenever you need people to come and work for your companies, you go get black people. Also, even with HBCU professors, I did an interview one time where I went down to Kentucky State University. It wasn't an interview, I'm sorry, I was giving a speech there. And they introduced me to the finance faculty. And I remember I spoke to this Italian guy who talked about the HBCU students like they were just garbage, like they were just the most ignorant, dumbest people ever. And I think he trusted me because I'm a PhD like him, but he didn't understand he was talking about my people. And I remember thinking, this is crazy that these students are being taught by somebody who has so much disgust for them and disrespect for them. And his whole attitude was that the only reason you would teach at a HBCU is because you can't get a real job. So you teach at a HBCU just so you can use it as a stepping stone for your real opportunity. And I think that's kind of, the pattern that I see is that black people kind of become mules. They carry the water for everybody else. And so I think the brother owes black women an apology. I mean, it doesn't mean he should apologize for who his wife is.
So why the fuck does he owe him an apology? He owes black people an apology for what? Because he was on a popular show? Are you a fuck? Because he was on a popular fictional show, he owes black people an apology. It's not like he was Malcolm X and then turn around and marry a white woman, right? Then I can see you say, okay, he owes black people an apology. He's an actor on a fucking fictional comedy show. He owes black people an apology? My nigga, please, please, please. Boyce Watkins, please stop sipping. This is not a good look. This is not a good look at all.
But I think
Yeah,
that
I mean,
this
that's
deception
fine.
is a problem.
He can marry whoever he is. It does feel a little like it feels a little underhanded, and he did have a
It feels.
baby with her, and so and I'm sure it's a beautiful baby. We don't know, but he posted pictures of the baby, but you don't really see the baby's face, and so it's almost like he was kind of
Interesting.
hiding the ethnicity of this baby because I'm sensing there's an internal struggle going on with him. Like, I got to turn the comments off because I'm not prepared to deal with the backlash that he's getting. Hell, I
First of all, he turned the comments on because he doesn't want to hear bitter black women. Nobody wants to hear y'all shit. Nobody wants to fucking hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody cares. You're strong. You're independent. You can do it on your own without no man. That's your MO. That's what you adopted. That's what you accepted. Black girl magic. This is your shit. You run your house. Fine. Run your goddamn house by yourself. But it's going to be more and more men pulling moves like this because they got the money to do it. See, niggas don't make moves like this because they hate black women. It's not that they hate them. Niggas make moves like this because, for the most part, the black women in their circles, like he's an actor, she's an actress, right? The black women in their circle feel like they're the boss too. But no man wants a boss in his house. Because if you a real man, you're the boss of your own house. It ain't two bosses. It ain't two bosses. Now, I don't know what's going on in this gentleman's house. I don't even know if, I don't know if she's a bossy, because there's bossy white women too, don't get it twisted. White men got complaints just like black men do. But at the same time, you can't knock this brother for seeing what the hell else is out there. Because the entirety of this goddamn series, black women shitted on his character. And the nigga didn't do nothing wrong. He tried to do everything right, and he still got shitted on at the end of every episode by almost every black woman who watched the show. So she wanted to keep bringing up the show. Based on the show, he should go be with a white woman. But we're going to get off this Boyce Watkins podcast because I can't really stomach any more of this crap. What I want to do is I want to go to I want to go to this article here. Maya Angelou once explained why she married the same white man 3 times. Now, why did I pull this article up? I'm pulling this article up because I just want to show you guys how ridiculous it is for black women to sit up here and complain about a black man marrying a white woman when you have one of the staples of black history, one of the staples of the civil rights movement or whatever, Maya Angelou married the same white man 3 times. But get this. Not only did she marry the same white man 3 times, she was also married to 2 other white men. And guess what? We don't care. Black men don't care. But y'all don't got this type of smoke for Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou married the same gigolo white man from England 3 times. We're gonna get into this article. I just want y'all to read this. All right. The late Dr. Maya Angelou was a legend. Okay. The late Dr. Maya Angelou was a legendary poet, author, and civil rights advocate. As an author, she is perhaps best known for her 1969 memoir, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. She made history as the first nonfiction bestseller by an African-American woman. While Angelou was a fierce advocate of the civil rights movement, many who followed her career were surprised that she married the same white man 3 times. The man's name was Paul Dufault, who was a British construction worker, painter, and once posed nude in a British Cosmopolitan magazine many decades ago. She married a fucking gigolo. She's a best-selling author and poet, and she married a goddamn construction worker / painter. Not an artist, a painter, like a nigga that paints walls white. A painter. In a 1975 interview with People magazine, Angelou and Dufault talked about their interracial marriage and how they met. This tall, handsome Englishman came up and asked if I were alone, Angelou said during the interview. I said yes. Why? And he told me I was the most beautiful woman in the world and could he take me to dinner right now? Well, we've never been apart a single night since, except for professional commitments.
You used me, Skinner! You used me!
So off the break, look, I'm just trying to keep it 100, right? This guy was posing in Cosmopolitan magazine naked, which means, pause, he was probably somewhat of an attractive white guy to be in Cosmopolitan. He comes to Maya Angelou and says she's the most beautiful woman in the world? Maya Angelou?
You used me, Skinner! You used me!
But this who she picked. That's them. Him with the most beautiful woman in the world. Angelou would later tell all who asked that she and Paul married 3 times because they loved each other that much. In an interview decades ago, Angelou recalled one time when a young white female approached her about the young woman's feelings about black and white marriages. Quote unquote. A pretty little white girl came up to me and said that she adored my writing but didn't believe in interracial marriage, Angelou recalled. I looked at her and thought of what my son's life would be like if he were married to her. So I said, honey, neither do I.
You used me, Skinner! You used me!
Now that's a goddamn lie. Because she was married to a white man at the time. So what does that tell us, fellas? What does that tell us? That tells us that black women want to be able to marry who they want to marry, but when a black man does it, they can't take it. Here's the bottom line. Black women who want to learn something, hear me out. You guys have a reputation for being over-sexualized, overly masculinized, and for having a sassy, mammy attitude. This is not all black women, but this is the popular stereotype that you guys don't deny, and to some degree, you guys embrace it. This is what the problem is. No black man with his shit together is gonna deal with that unless he stumbles across a good one. And there are good ones out here, but for the most part, he's gotta either do some digging or searching for it, or he's gotta stumble across it and get lucky. Either way, There's a ton of women from other ethnicities who recognize a nigga that's a boss, and they're gonna act accordingly. So if you guys wanna attract, catch, and keep black men of a certain status, you're gonna have to change your game plan because it's not working. The only people who you guys are impressing are each other. But then again, you also hate each other. If you keep going down this path, the marriage rate is going to be less than 25%. So, that's it for today's episode. If you agree, disagree, or if you are indifferent, regardless, leave your comments below. We'd love to hear your opinion. That's it for this episode of Trippin' Ain't Easy. Peace out.